All You Need to Know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the All You Need to Know podcast on Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 7th of January. In the top news overnight, the US Capitol building was placed under lockdown and Vice President Mike Pence left the floor of Congress as hundreds of pro-Trump protesters forced their way past barricades surrounding the building where lawmakers were debating Joe Biden's victory in the Electoral College. After 4 hours of lockdown, the US Capitol was finally declared secure and senators returned to work escorted by cops in body armor. The vote that will seal the deal for President-elect Joe Biden still hangs in the balance. Early in the day, President Donald Trump at a rally in Washington declared that he would never concede he was defeated for re-election and assailed congressional Republicans planning to ratify President-elect Joe Biden's victory. Trump said he would later join the protesters at the US Capitol to protest the congressional certification of Biden's Electoral College victory and repeatedly urged Vice President Mike Pence to somehow stop Congress from ratifying the president's defeat. But Pence said that he had no such authority. Twitter has suspended Trump's account and required him to delete some posts after what the company called repeated and severe rule violations. Once the tweets are deleted, Trump will get his account back after a 12-hour lock is lifted. Twitter also warned that repeated infringements by the president would result in a permanent suspension of the account. In news back home, active COVID-19 cases have fallen to 2.3 lakh, according to data released by the Union Health Ministry. That compares with the 10 lakh odd active cases seen in mid-September. The country added more than 18,000 fresh infections in the 24 hours to 8 a.m. yesterday, while over 21,000 patients recovered during the same period. There's a significant update in the privacy policies that are offered by WhatsApp. Users will no longer have the option of opting out of sharing information with Facebook. When the popular messaging application last updated its privacy policy in July of 2020, it gave users a month to opt out of sharing information with its parent. Now its updated privacy policy will offer no such choice. In other news, India's Home First Finance is seeking to raise as much as 250 crore rupees from an initial public offering in the next few weeks as the mortgage provider backed by Warburg Pincus taps rising demand for housing. In more international news, the minutes of the last meeting of the US Federal Reserve showed that officials unanimously backed holding the pace of asset purchases steady, with some open to future adjustments if required. Chair Jerome Powell described the new guidance as powerful, though both policymakers and investors have since struggled to agree on what would trigger a tapering of such asset purchases. In international markets, US stocks ended mixed with two of the three indices ending higher. The Nasdaq declined by 0.6%. In the Asia-Pacific region, all three early rises have started in the green. In the commodities space, Brent crude, which headed higher earlier in the week, was trading close to $54.3 to the barrel last I checked. And with that, it's over to Hormuz Fatakia for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Hormuz. How are we looking today?
Good morning to you, Alex, and to those tuning in. The markets took a breather on Wednesday ahead of the weekly options expiry session today. The 10-day winning run of the Sensex came to an end, as did the buying run of foreign investors. FPIs turned net sellers in a session for the first time since the 21st of December. FMCG and IT were the top laggards on Wednesday. However, we may be in for a rebound today as early ticks on the SGX Nifty showed that the index traded 80 points higher around the mark of 14,260. Specific stocks then, and I'll start off first with NMDC. The company has hiked its prices of lump ore and fines for the 10th consecutive time since June last year. Prices of lump ore were hiked 9.6% to 5,700 rupees per ton, while those of fines were raised 4.3% to 4,810 rupees per ton. The prices of lump ore have now been raised 132% since the 1st of July last year, while those of fines have been raised 123%. Some quarterly business updates then. Bandhan Bank reported a 5% growth in advances on a sequential basis to just over 80,000 crore rupees. The growth on a year-on-year basis was 23%. Similarly, deposits also saw a growth of 8% on a sequential basis, while that figure year-on-year was 30% higher at just over 71,100 crore rupees. The bank's CASA ratio stood at 43% as compared to 38% last quarter. Bangalore-based real estate player Sobha said that the sales volumes achieved during the October to December period was the best ever without any major launch during the quarter. Average realizations also rose 15% from last year to 7,830 rupees per square feet, which was the highest in the last 6 quarters. The company also said that the sales volumes achieved in areas like Kochi and Thrissur in Kerala during the first 9 months of FY21 have already surpassed the levels of FY20. The company attributed this performance to good demand witnessed across all their product categories. Staying with real estate, Maharashtra has agreed to halve fees on government approvals for new and upcoming construction on the recommendations of a panel headed by Deepak Parekh. Premiums will be reduced by 50%, and developers who avail of this benefit will have to pay stamp duty on behalf of the buyers. The reduction will be valid till the 31st of December this year. So watch out for stocks like Oberoi Realty, Suntec Realty, Kolte Patil, among others. Next up is Wendt, where the promoters Carborundum Universal and Wendt GmbH plan to sell 4.74% of the total equity through an offer for sale. This is being done for the company to comply with minimum public shareholding norms. The floor price of 2,200 rupees per share is a discount of nearly 29% to Wednesday's closing price. The OFS opens for non-retail investors today and for retail investors tomorrow. Remember, the company had earlier planned this OFS on the 21st of December, which was then called off due to a delay in the transfer of sale shares. Lupin will be in focus after US FDA gave an approval to its oral suspension, which is used in the treatment and prevention of a wide variety of bacterial infections and a certain type of pneumonia. The suspension had annual sales of approximately $19 million in the United States as of September 2020, according to data from the IQVIA. Dixon Technologies has partnered with BOAT for manufacturing twin wireless speakers. The manufacturing of these speakers will take place at the company's manufacturing facility in Noida. The stock gained for the 5th straight session on Wednesday, ending at a record high of just under 14,500 rupees per share. PNC Infratech will be in focus on the back of several large deals that took place on the stock. Out of the near 10% stake sold by CN Infrabuild, 0.86% stake was acquired by Axis Mutual Fund, close to 1% stake was acquired by Nippon India Mutual Fund, 0.8% stake was acquired by BNP Paribas Arbitrage, and various Fidelity funds bought close to 2% stake in the company. Shares fell as much as 8% on Wednesday before recovering from the day's low to end 5% lower. Still, it was the biggest single-day drop for the stock in over 3 months. And that's all from me today. More news and updates relating to various segments can be viewed on our website, bloombergquint.com. Also, don't forget to tune in to our research reports section, where you get some of the top brokerage notes from various firms. With that, I wish you a safe day ahead, and it's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Hormuz, and as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.